together. The students really have become worldwide known. And so I'm really proud of our students that are up here at the head table. And let's give all these students a round of applause. I want to thank our founding members, the 2010 Griff's Run and Gun Steering Committee that can be found in your booklet. If it wasn't for people like Booker Moore, Brent Ottaway, Melissa Stubbs, so many people, Kim Van Buren, this would not have taken place. People came together wanting to make a difference. I also want to say thank you to our founding members of Sideline Cancer, and that would be Bonnie Waltz and Tammy Fleck. And I also want to say thank you to our Griffith Family Foundation board members, John McIntyre, Bruce Erb, Cindy Kansky, Steve Gilday, Jordan Griffith, J.T. Tidd, Jack Collins, Nancy Fulchero, Dennis DeGaul Jr., and I'm proud to say we have two new board members, Rosie Skye and Sean McCarl. Let's give them all a round of applause. And I hope everybody has checked out the silent auction. The kids have really worked hard. They're all smiling because they created every basket. Really worked on all of it because I've been busy traveling with our Sideline Cancer cause. So I hope all of you take the opportunity. The auction will be open till 8, and I hope you take the opportunity to go in and look. We have a trip to Marco Island donated by the Garrity family, and we also have one round of golf for 2 golfers and a caddy at Oakmont. So I hope you guys take a look at that. And then I also want to talk about Sean McCarl and our group over here with our golf tournament. We just had our 8th annual golf tournament, and it was our best ever. So I want to give Sean McCarl and his employees a shout out for an awesome golf tournament every year. We're going to have our annual golf tournament every Father's Day weekend. And this year it's going to be Friday, June 19th at Scotch Valley Country Club. So please, if you're a golfer, come and join us every Father's Day weekend on Friday. We really do have a great time. And then next Saturday, if any of you are free, we are going to be at our 9th annual Fun to Cure at the Altoona Curve. And I want to give a special thank you to Jeff Behrens, the general manager of Alto Park West. For 9 years, we've been doing that at the Curve, and I hope all of you can come out and join us. And a shout out to Jeff Behrens and the good folks, literally good folks at Alto Park West. Okay, and dinner date for next year. I always like to plan ahead, as most of you know. Dinner date next year will be August 14th. I made it Billy Clapper so that when we win the TBT on ESPN, we'll bring the TV here. So it's August 14th. I did that for you, Billy. And a TBT update. What is the TBT? Many of you, we eat, sleep, and drink basketball in the Griffith Vitar family. And the TBT stands for the basketball tournament. So briefly, what I want to say is, back in 2014, our good dear friend Billy Clapper came to me, along with our dear friend John Boyer, a former Hollidaysburg standout. They came to me with this idea that we could make a platform for basketball. And so we literally took the ball and we ran with it. And as Jordan said, we put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into it, but we made it on to ESPN. We beat Kansas State, Wichita State, and we lost to Marquette. Let's hear it for Billy Clapper. I also want to talk about the Courage for Kiera Foundation. This year was the biggest yard sale ever at the U.S. Hotel. Maddie Fulchero is the founding member of the Courage, or the founder of the Courage for Kiera Foundation. Kiera, as you all know, succumbed to epithelioid sarcoma a few years ago. And Maddie took it upon herself to want to make the world a better place for students by giving scholarship money to students that have adversity that they face in the music department. So let's give Maddie Pulchero and her team a big round of applause. On your tables is an organization that was started by the founder, Sue Griff. It's called United We Can of Blair County. 4 years ago, Sue came into my office with an idea of engaging the youth with motivational speakers. And we do it probably every other month. We meet here at the casino. We have a powerhouse group of speakers this year. In fact, our first luncheon is September 12th. At the casino, it's Deborah Borza, mother of the youngest passenger of Flight 93. If any of you are available to come, the flyer's on the table. It's like an offshoot of Sideline Cancer. It's a way that we can make a change in the world by getting students to see people who have faced adversity and have come out the other side. Mostly all of the local schools participate. So let's give Sue Grief, founder of United We Can, a round of applause. Tonight, Penn State University and St. Francis University for establishing their Sideline Cancer clubs. Without those clubs, we would have never gotten the recognition to be on ESPN. So it really does take all of us, each and every one of us in this room is making a difference in regards to Sideline Cancer. I also want to welcome here tonight, I am very proud to say, tonight in attendance, we have the Easter for Eli group. If you guys give a wave back here, let's hear it for Easter for Eli. Girls Night Out. They do a lot of work also for breast cancer, so one shout out too for Girls Night Out. So we've got some Sideline Cancer games coming up at Hollidaysburg September 20th and at Bishop Guilfoyle High School October 20th. We really have fun selling our t-shirts, and so please support those events. It's at this time now that I'd like to thank our interns and our volunteers. These student interns are my heart and soul. And so I want to thank Caitlin Edgel, Sierra Cobbler, Marissa Lombardi, Sierra Lombardi, Josh Cobbler, Nate Myers, Maddie Fulchero, Gianna Georgiana, Riley and Casey Reed, Lexi Kentner, Sage Garber, Dylan Ware, Madison Faith, Teresa Gilday, Alyssa and Evan Brozovich, and Lexi Woodring. Let's give these students a round of applause. And now I'd like to turn it to more of a serious note. This week, our community faced a lot of tragedy, and the St. Francis student that was involved in Dayton, Ohio, Nick Coomer, their family really suffered a terrible, terrible loss, and I'm speechless, about how these things happen. And so I really want to take a moment when I call Lisa and Brother Seamus. We want to take a moment to pray for their families and to pray for peace and more love in our world. And then our Hollidaysburg community also lost a very prominent member in our music community. Tom Nagy succumbed to brain cancer this week also. So Bonnie Waltz is here on behalf not only of Sideline Cancer, but also on behalf of the Nagy. So it's at this time I'd like to call Lisa Georgiana. And Lisa is with the Center for Service and Community Engagement and is the Interfaith Campus Minister at St. Francis University. And Brother Seamus is the Director of International Admissions at St. Francis University. So it is my honor and privilege to welcome them to the podium for our invocation.
Good evening, everyone. Let us begin with asking the Lord's blessing. Heavenly Creator, thank you for coming into our midst, being our guest, and taking your place at this wonderful celebration this evening of both talent and dedication to the cure for cancer. We give you thanks, our Creator, for all those here present, for their willingness to share their gifts, their stories, their research, their struggles, their accomplishments, in order to fulfill our collective mission of sidelining pancreatic cancer.
Lord God, in your wisdom and love, you surround us this evening with the mysteries of the universe. In times long past, you sent your prophets to teach your laws and to bear witness to your undying love. You sent us your Son to teach humankind by work and example that true faith comes from you alone.
In a very special way, we as one community of faith praise, bless, and raise up this evening all those here present and beyond who over these many years have furthered an interest in, an appreciation for, and an understanding of finding a cure for cancer.
Dear Lord, bless the larger faith community here present and beyond. Give us all right faith, sure hope, and perfect charity. Fill us all with your understanding and knowledge that we will fulfill your commands now and forever.
And so let us pray for a healing of cancer. Loving Father, you have taught us that faith as small as a mustard seed
can grow into an amazing tree. This evening at the casino at Lakemont Park, we give you our little seed of faith. We place it firmly in the ground of your word. We water it with truth. The warmth of your love will certainly make it grow. This evening we ask by faith that you would bring healing in every way from cancer. We place our trust in you. May this seed sow healing into every area where cancer has emerged. May it grow into a strong and wonderful beacon of healing light, redeeming and restoring with great strength and power. Amen.
It is with heavy heart that we share the news that a student from St. Francis University was among the casualties of the mass shooting that occurred this past weekend in Dayton, Ohio. Nicholas Comer was a graduate student in the Masters of Cancer Care program. He had been in Dayton as part of his internship program. Nick was a great man with a gentle spirit and a strong desire to learn as much as he could in order to be the best practitioner for his cancer patients. His work ethic and willingness to serve others was certainly inspiring. We are honored to have known him and be part of his life over these last few years. Another St. Francis University student, Kelsey Clark, who was also in Dayton, was injured in the mass shooting. We pray for her healing and recovery. Therefore, collectively, this evening, we ask for a moment of silence as we join the nation in mourning Nicholas alongside of all of the victims of this tragedy. We ask this, as always, in Christ Jesus, our Lord and healing Father. Amen.
Every year, one of my friends, Tammy Stubbs, donates. A lot of you have seen it on Facebook. This year, she had the idea that this is to be given to Nick, and we really want Lisa then to present it from all of us, from our Sideline Cancer family to the Kuma family. So Lisa, please give this to them with our love and our condolences to their family.
And Dr. Stephen LaRusso is here with us this evening. He'll be going to the funeral tomorrow. He'll be taking us with him to the family.
So thank you, everybody. Now I'd like to call Bonnie Waltz. Bonnie, can you come up here? As I said, Hollidaysburg lost a real giant in the music community, Tom Nagy, this week. And so Bonnie is best friends with the family. This has been a very tough week for Bonnie because she's best friends with the Coomer family also. So Bonnie has a few words to share on behalf of the Nagy family.
Today we celebrated, Tom's life in Evansburg, and I know I saw a few of you there, and I know a few of you told me that you visited with Wendy Jo and the girls this week, and I know that Wendy Jo is a huge supporter of our Sideline cancer effort, and they'll be so blessed when they receive the picture from Sideline Cancer, just keep them in your prayers. I think it'll be a little bit of a rough ride for them for a while, but if you just keep them on your list every night. I know that Wendy Jo and Kira and Bryn would be very appreciative of that. So we thank you from the Nagy family, and I'll make sure that I get this to Wendy Jo here in the next week.
Well, tonight I am extremely honored for our 10th annual dinner to have an outstanding friend and cancer fighter, his daughter Emily Whitehead. I don't know if many of you follow her story, but Emily Whitehead is surviving her cancer. And I'm going to read a little bit about Tom, her father, that is here with us tonight. Tom Whitehead is the co-founder of the Emily Whitehead Foundation. Emily's life was saved using a revolutionary new cancer treatment called T-cell therapy. In 2012, she was the first child in the world to have her immune cells trained to fight cancer. Today, she is 7 years cancer-free. The mission of their foundation continues to be Activate the Cure for childhood cancer by raising awareness and funding for innovative childhood cancer treatments that are less toxic and more targeted, such as immunotherapy, and to support families fighting childhood cancer. So it is my pleasure and honor to welcome here from Phillipsburg, PA. We are Central PA proud here, that you could be here to share the journey of Emily's miraculous, cure, and we look forward to helping you activate the cure. So please come on up, Tom. While we're waiting on getting the lights dim, I'm going to take this opportunity to give Tom a plaque from all of us. It says, presented to Tom Whitehead of the Emily Whitehead Foundation in appreciation for your family's efforts to sideline cancer through CAR T-cell therapy. Together we can sideline pancreatic cancer, believe always, August 9th, sponsored by the Griff Family Foundation. We'll get our picture taken while we're waiting.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here tonight, share our story. My daughter Emily was born on May 2nd of 2005, locally here in Clearfield, Pennsylvania. And she was perfectly healthy up until just after her 5th birthday. And up until the day before she was diagnosed, she felt fine. Leading up that week, we noticed that she had some blood on her gums when she was brushing her teeth, and twice I noticed blood on the end of her nose, and asked her if her nose was bleeding, and she said no. And it was Memorial Day weekend of 2010. Thursday night, she had a lot of knee pain by the next day we were in the Hershey Medical Center diagnosed with leukemia. So when she got diagnosed, we were told this is the garden variety kind of pediatric cancer. It's the most curable kind of pediatric cancer. If your child has to have cancer, this is the one you want to have. We were very hopeful, and we got started, and she had a very rough start. Just 2 weeks into her treatment, I had to sign consent forms, giving the chief of surgery at Hershey Medical Center permission to amputate both legs if need be. He saved her legs in that surgery, but she spent the induction phase, which is the first 30 days in the hospital there at Hershey, in the intensive care unit. But it taught us very quickly how your perspective can change, because I remember being devastated the first day I ever walked into the hallway where all the kids had cancer, and several weeks later we were celebrating getting back to the hallway where the kids were fighting cancer. So we got started. She got into remission after that rough start, which we were very hopeful for, and she remained in that remission for 16 months. That short film was actually made for an event that we got to attend in Hollywood a couple of years ago, but I'll share that in a little bit. But moving forward, we were treating locally at Mountain Indian Medical Center. She became the first child to receive chemotherapy there with Dr. Jim Powell. And when we had to go to Hershey, we would treat down there up until she relapsed. 16 months in, can you advance my slide? The next slide was the last picture we had before she was diagnosed. And then the first week in the hospital, just a week they were there, she's on a morphine pump. 16 months in, the day before we went for routine blood work over at Mount Nittany, Emily told my wife's Aunt Kathy that was watching her that the blast cells had grown in my bones again. And I went in the next day and Dr. Powell and said she feels like she's relapsing. And he gave her a physical and said she looks fine. We'll check her blood and then I'll get back to you. It was the first time in her treatment that he didn't get back to me the same day. When he called me the next day, I knew before I answered the phone that something was wrong. And they said she's in full relapse. And at that point, we decided, things aren't going exactly the way we were told they would go. And we were told that day that you went from an 85% chance of survival to less than 30. And that we would need a bone marrow transplant. And she had no siblings, she was an only child. So we decided that, we would identify a donor and try to go to transplant. And one of the best moves we ever made was, before we did anything, we went for a second opinion at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. At that time, they told us, we're going to do exactly what Hershey's going to do, and Hershey's 2 hours from home, and we're 4 hours from home, so if you want to go back there, go ahead to Hershey. So we actually attempted to do that. They tried to take her to bone marrow transplant the first week of February of 12, and unfortunately the donor they had identified said they weren't available until the last week of February to donate their cells, and then mid-February she relapsed again, was no longer eligible for the bone marrow transplant. And eventually our Hershey doctors said, we just don't have any more weapons to fight her cancer, it's time to go home on hospice. I said, that's not going to be an option for us. Somehow inside I know she's going to beat her cancer. And we paged her doctors again down at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, and they said just yesterday, the last email we read was the FDA giving us permission to try this new T-cell treatment that's never been used on any child in the world. So we transferred down there on March 1st. Can you advance the slide? This was throughout her treatment to that point, and when she first lost her hair, I told her hair's not important. So she said, well, then I'll cut your hair off. And she took my beard trimmer and cut my hair off. So advancing again, here we are, after her second relapse, we went to CHOP, which is the Children's Hospital of Philly, and this is when they hooked her up to the machine and spun her T cells out. So they call it apheresis. We entered the trial. They took her cells out here, and then she spent 6 weeks in isolation in her hospital room while they took her cells to the lab and genetically modified them to recognize and kill the cancer. After waiting that 6 weeks, advance my slide. April 17th, 12 was her first day of reinfusing her modified T cells. After they trained them to recognize their cancer, each modified T cell could kill 1,000 tumor cells of their cancer. And we found out later that over 3.5 pounds of her body weight was cancer. So they gave her a nice certificate on the first day, and over 3 days they reinfused her T cells, and then she got very sick. And she got to a point where they put her into a coma and put her on an oscillating ventilator and told us that she wasn't going to make it through the night. And I said, I know she's going to beat her cancer, so please keep trying to help her. And all we ever asked for was people to pray for her, and if you don't pray, send your positive thoughts. And it turned into people in this area doing fundraising for us and helping us every way. But I believe the prayers were the most important. At one point they pulled me in the hall and said, call your family in, less than a 1 in 1,000 chance your daughter's alive in the morning. And I said, I'll see you at Rounds tomorrow, because she'll still be here. The next day, she was still there. They come up with a treatment using a drug called tocilizumab, which had never been used on a cancer patient. It was for arthritis, and they figured out in the lab that that would turn around her side effects from the treatment, which she was having cytokine release syndrome. That turned out to be a big find as her treatment, because now that's used in intensive care units all over the world. Can you advance the slide? So when she went into that coma, she stayed in that coma for 14 days. It was 2 weeks, and she made it through. And the day they gave her that experimental drug, the tocilizumab, which wasn't approved for cancer, but they gave it to her. And within 12 hours, they were telling us, I've never seen anyone this sick get better any faster. She woke up then in the 14-day coma on her 7th birthday. That's when she came back to us. And that was May 2nd of 12. And then 8 days later, they tested her, and this was the results. 23 days after her reinfused T cells, she was completely cancer-free. So she got better. We took her home on June 1st of 2012. And we had kind of a quiet 6 months when she was getting better, and we were telling her, you know, we were being told this is one of the biggest breakthroughs in cancer ever. So we had a quiet 6 months, and during that time, the hospital asked us to be interviewed by the New York Times. And we started working with an Oscar-winning film director who said, I have some funding for a short film. I'd like to make it about Emily's treatment, and I'll release it whenever the doctors have peer review and are allowed to talk about her treatment. So this picture on the left was in early December of 2012. They put Emily's picture on the cover of the New York Times, and our lives changed that day. And I joke around because we spent a whole day with a photographer, and he took about 1,200 pictures, and I wasn't in 10 of the pictures. That's the picture on the cover of the New York Times. So when the media started calling, they were asking for Emily's mom because she was in the picture. So that changed our lives, and by the next morning we were getting calls from all over the world for media interviews asking. The media caught fire because there was a silver lining to HIV being used to train her T cells to recognize cancer. This was a picture of a newspaper article from China that somebody sent us, and now her picture is used in microbiology books. So the bottom right picture there is from a microbiology book, and I think it was from over Penn State. And she was just super proud that her dog Lucy got in that picture. So can you advance? So when I was teaching her to walk again at the hospital, I kept telling her, this is such a big deal. You're going to meet the president someday. And then we were very fortunate that we announced that we were starting our own foundation because with all the media attention came calls from parents from all over the world saying we're being sent home with hospice. We need that treatment too. And we tried, we started our foundation, and it was literally 2 days later I got a call and they said the White House would like you to bring Emily down. We have bipartisan support for funding for these new treatments. Precision medicine, they were going to announce it. So when I asked them, I worked for Cadillac locally here, and I was on a 3 to 11 shift, and they said, will you bring her to the White House? And I said, does anybody say no? I said, just do me a favor. I promised her when she was getting better and learning to walk again that you're going to meet the president. So I said, I don't want to bring her down there and have him walk through the room. I want her to meet the president. And the Secret Service said, we cannot confirm or deny if the president will be there. And I said, okay, but just pass on the request. And about an hour later, I got an email that said, when you're at the White House with the 200 press people in the room having coffee with you, and if you go to the JFK painting, at this time, Secret Service will come and take you in another room, and we will not confirm or deny whoever you may be. So this was, when he met us, I started explaining to him about Emily, and he said, Tom, you don't have to tell me about Emily. Everyone knows about Emily. She changed the world. And I was talking about her during my State of the Union speech when I said, we're going to fund precision medicine because the cures are happening. So he asked her, is there anything I can do for you? And she said, well, I wasn't allowed to tell my school today where I was going, so he wrote her this. He wrote 6 donations to me. Amazing things started to happen. The whole time she was being treated, I said, you got to smile once every day, and you got to believe. I said, you're not strong enough to fight with strength. You just keep fighting. You just be a hero. So once we got home, we started our foundation. At one point, we met Sean Parker in New York City. If you've seen the movie Social Network, Justin Timberlake played Sean Parker. And Sean said to me one day, he said, when he met us, he said, I want you to know I'm going to bring hundreds of millions of dollars towards this research because your daughter's the face of the revolution that's going to stop people dying from cancer. I didn't know who he was when he met us, so I said, I hope you keep your word. So about 2 years later, he invited us. He said, I'm going to donate $250 million of my own money. I'm going to start the Parker Institute for Cancer Immunotherapy, and I'd like to feature Emily at my function in Beverly Hills. And we're going to let Hollywood know what's going on. So we made that short film for his event that you watched here earlier. When we were at that event, before we went on stage to speak, Bradley Cooper was partnered with us. And we took a picture with him there on the left. And he told about losing his father to cancer and said, I'm going to make a big difference for people like my father and Emily Whitehead. We played the video and then we went on stage. Later that night, Emily got called up on stage and Lady Gaga sang to her. That's an actual picture. She was hanging out with Katy Perry that night. It was just an amazing night for us. And when she was singing to Emily, Bradley Cooper heard her singing to Emily. And the next day he drove to her house and said, I think we should make a movie together. And that turned into A Star Is Born. So, yeah. So, can you advance? Yeah. So we were at that event, and 2 days later I was called to look at the power lines that were down there. So I had people ask me, "Are you on TV?" Yeah, I was the other night. So from the time she got better, our goal was to get FDA approval so these families that were calling us from all over the world can have access to it. Because once it passes in the United States, it starts to pass in other countries. It was an honor for me. I kept asking them, when is this going to happen? And they finally had the hearing, and Emily's treatment got passed by the FDA 5 years after she was treated, which is pretty much unprecedented. It's the first time in history that a cancer treatment was passed in kids before adults. And it was an honor for me that I got to speak at what they call the ODAC hearing when the board decided on whether to recommend or not to the FDA to pass it. I was the last speaker, and then they voted unanimously to pass it. This is the story of the actual day the FDA approval happened, and it was a pretty neat day for us. We just happened to be in New York City filming a show with Lincoln Kelly, and we had left Rockefeller Center, and the FDA approval happened, and we got called back and got interviewed by 2 of the evening news that night. One of the interviews was in Central Park, so it was pretty cool. We had our first Believe Ball in October of 2017 for our foundation, and this is a picture of over 30 of the kids that received the treatment after Emily. And so far there's been over 500 kids treated in 11 countries, and none of them would have had a chance before she pioneered that treatment. So recently, I'm going to try to wrap it up here, but recently, she was on Stand Up to Cancer, the live show last September, and at the end of the show she said, when I get older I'd like to become a filmmaker, because that's what her interest is. And 2 days later I got a call and they said DreamWorks would like to include Emily's 1 through 6 year cancer-free picks in a short film about big ideas that have changed the world. And we agreed to that, and I said, you know, she has interest in becoming a filmmaker. If there's any way she can participate, that would be great. And they said, well, Steven Spielberg would like to meet her. So a few months ago, we got to go down to Philadelphia and spend the day with him and watch the premiere of this short film, which is actually free to watch, and it's in Comcast headquarters down in Philadelphia. You just have to go on a virtual list, and they build a 39-foot spiritual theater that looks like Epcot in their lobby. So if you get the chance, it's really neat to go and watch it. The seats lift up, and it makes you feel like it's floating. And after we met him, of course, I said, you know, he talked to us about remaking West Side Story right now in New York City. So in the coming weeks, he's going to have Emily on site for the day on set to get to see what it's like to direct a film. So we've been truly blessed since she got better. We've been able to travel to at least 5 or 6 different countries and share her story as her treatment passes. And the goal now is to get the immunotherapy working in the solid tumors. And Emily's doctors down at Penn were put in charge of a large grant from Stand Up to Cancer for the pancreatic green tea. And they don't have any FDA approval yet, but they're making advances and getting people into remission that wouldn't get into remission in the past. And their goal is to find multiple targets and someday have your immune system also trained to beat pancreatic cancer. So it's just been an honor for us to have Kathy invite me locally here. You know, it's a no-brainer because we ask all the doctors and the centers always to collaborate, so we think it's a good idea too as foundations to collaborate. And it's great here that there's so many here tonight. Can you advance this? Each year we post on May 10th, which is the day that we were told Emily was cancer-free. She's 7 years cancer-free. She's 14. She's now 5'9" tall. She'll be going to the high school here in Philadelphia next year. We live pretty close there by the high school. And she's 7 years past spending the night in the hospital. So at 5 years out, we were told she was cured. And we tried to do everything we can because the media stuff turns into more people finding out about it. Her treatment actually works in B-cell adult lymphoma, and it's FDA approved now for that. So it also proved that these breakthroughs in kids can work in adults too. And you know, we're just blessed to still have her. When you see her out with her friends now, you can't tell that anything ever happened to her. And that's what it sure looks like to us as parents. And I just wanted to say that it's an honor to be here tonight and share our story with you. A couple things coming up on our end. We have a big year coming. We've been working on a feature documentary with Oscar winner Ross Kaufman, and he's hoping to take it to Sundance this year, so it might be out, probably will be out next year. And we wanted to write a book about our story, share the fake part of our story that most people haven't heard. And Hachette Publishing has just picked up our book. And we're very fortunate to have filmmaker Ken Burns helping us on this, and he offered to raise it forward. We're going to have a book out next year. So we're going to keep everybody locally. There's people from this entire area that pray for us, and we can't thank you enough. And I think what you're doing is amazing. And thanks to the Griff family. It's really hard to have a foundation and raise money. And just thank you. And thank you, everybody, for this.
So many sad stories today. And you knew for our 10th annual dinner, to Tom, I saw on Facebook their Believe Ball. And you know, it's all about believing. You can't ever give up. How about it, Tom? You got to keep taking it from the sideline to the finish line. And so we're going to continue on with our program. And at this time, I would like to call up, well, actually, we're now going to watch, I believe, a video. So I don't know if anyone's on lights, who's in lights, and we're gonna watch our Sideline Cancer video to give you guys like a 10-minute overview of where we started, where we are, and Sierra Cobbler has created slides that shows us where we've been this summer.
In his speech to the ESPYs, nearly 20 years ago, Jim Valvano, who would later die of cancer, said, "Don't give up. Don't ever give up." And when I think of those that have died of pancreatic cancer, I don't think of "don't give up, don't ever give up." I think more of the time for a cure is now. When I look in the eyes of my sons and think about their future, I think the time for a cure is now. And when I look out over this crowd in this room, and I see the love and commitment of this community, I know the time for a cure is now.
The hope that Greg's speech brought to all of us that night was for the urgency and the change in direction for the whole global pancreatic cancer community. Luke and Amanda Ottaway were both college students at the time and came up with the idea that they could do something, that this younger generation could do something to help Greg transform the outcome of pancreatic cancer. There were children there, high school students, college students, business leaders. A lot of people from the Blair County community rallied to help us want to change the outcome. The proceeds of the fundraising was donated to Dr. A. James Moser, who is a hepatobiliary pancreatic surgeon. Greg had a follow-up appointment with Dr. Moser right after the dinner and presented Dr. Moser with a check right at Dr. Moser's office. The success of the first event and the success of Greg's overall health were really the determining factor that we were going to just plan to have a second dinner. And it was Booker Moore that decided he wanted to surprise Greg and I at the second annual Griff's Run and Gun for a Cure dinner with the announcement to the entire audience that they had formed the Greg and Kathy Griffith Family Foundation as a gift from Booker and the community. We became the foundation in July of 2011. And our amazing board hired Tammy Fleck as our executive office administrator, and she put a plan of action in place for Sideline Cancer to take us to where we are today. And then we met Intel Science and Engineer Fair winner in July of 2012. And we hosted Jack then on April 5th, 2013 at Penn State Altoona. And we had created a campaign that previous winter called Tackle Cancer. And it was Jack Andraka who said that tackle cancer was very limited and that we needed to create a campaign that could include everybody. That's where, when we got students together, formed a focus group with Jack Andraka and Kiara Sheardon, that the outcome was our I Can Sideline Pancreatic Cancer Youth Initiative, the only youth initiative in the world that engages students to use their entrepreneurial and philanthropic ideas to raise awareness and be advocates for transformational change for pancreatic cancer. Lisa Georgiana attended our first pancreatic symposium at Penn State Altoona on April 5th, 2013. And she was so excited about meeting Jack Andraka and was inspired by his work that she returned to St. Francis University and established the first ever Sideline Cancer Chapter Club. St. Francis University has housed us with their volleyball team, so their philanthropic endeavors benefit Sideline Cancer. Then we started to host more dinners, and we transitioned to calling everything Sideline Cancer. So we have had 8 Sideline cancer dinners, 7 Fun to Cure nights at the Altoona Curve, and 6 Tee Off for a Cure golf tournaments. And we have involved students in dozens of awareness events in numerous Blair County schools. We knew that we needed to get more volunteers and more help, so we engaged the youth by having a non-paid internships established here at our foundation. By engaging the youth, that has been the transformational change here at the foundation. From 2010 to date, our Griffith Family Foundation Sideline Cancer Youth Initiative has donated $260,000 to the research efforts of Dr. A. James Moser at Harvard Medical School. We have created ICAN Sideline Cancer Assemblies that we do all through Blair County at a lot of the local schools. What we do is we engage students to believe that they truly can be the change that our world needs and that their voices can be heard to transform and change and sideline pancreatic cancer. The basketball tournament, which is aired on ESPN, began in 2014, and our good friend John Boyer and Billy Clapper made the connection for us. And the TBT is a winner-takes-all $2 million prize, and it is a great platform to raise awareness on a national scale through the ESPN and the ICAN Sideline Cancer. We have had successful teams every year, and our players really believe always that they also can be instruments of change through their gift of basketball. My husband Greg loved the game of basketball, and we began with a family day of basketball at the Hollidaysburg YMCA. And after about 3 years of the tournament, we then birthed it from biddy basketball to what Greg Griffith would call the big dance. I see a lot of people coming together through the game of basketball with a platform of the Purple Awareness for ICAN Sideline Pancreatic Cancer. The Digestive Disease National Coalition is a coalition that brings together all of the digestive disease disorder community in the United States. 5 years ago, I was asked to be a part of it to represent the pancreatic cancer community. What it does is it coincides with Greg's second speech.
It's going to take people talking to leadership to help pull this together. It's going to take the top doctors in the world willing to talk to the other top doctors in the world to defeat cancer. It's going to take the willingness of people in Congress to fight this disease. Not necessarily just from a money standpoint, but from a leadership standpoint, pulling folks together.
It pulls the whole pancreatic cancer community together. We became members of the American Society of Clinical Oncology, the American Association of Cancer Researchers, and we are a proud member of the World Pancreatic Cancer Coalition that was established in May of 2016, and today boasts 74 members, 31 countries, and 6 continents. We are more powerful together, and we are better together, and we are demanding better for pancreatic cancer. Greg began working at Penn State University back in 2007. And he was diagnosed while he was a adjunct instructor at Penn State University in 2010. And so now what does my heart good is that in 2018, we are an official club. I can feel Greg's spirit, and I can feel Greg's spirit engaging the youth to use their voices and their hearts to want to see the change to get this to the finish line. A junior, Sierra Cobbler, at Penn State University reached out to Dr. James Adair. And she thought it would be good to reach out to him because she had Googled that he was working on nano jackets, very similar to Jack Andraka. So she put the connection together that both were interested in both nanoparticles. She emailed him at 11:20 at night. He responded back to her email within 2 days, and the next thing I know, we were all meeting with him, and he had confirmed to be our Penn State club advisor. And on March 1st, 2018, Sideline Cancer became an official club at Penn State University. And the excitement continued. On April 24th, 2018, Dr. James Adair became the 2018 recipient of the Invent Penn State Inventor of the Year. The platform at Penn State University brings the voice of the younger generation to want to see transformational change for pancreatic cancer, with the possibility of a purple out at a football game, a purple night at a basketball game, or even anything non-related to sports, whether that would be in the classroom, through a club. The possibilities with ICAN Sideline Cancer are endless. This is truly just the beginning of what we can do. When I look at those words, I can, I see hope, I see collaboration, I see people of all age groups coming together through their passion and their determination. And what we hope to see one day is that this disease, pancreatic cancer, will be a treatable and curable cancer.
We'll see how this, we're gonna do a couple, we have now the Beyond Going, you know, that video was made last spring. And so what I wanna talk about is back in November at Fenway Park, Dr. Moser was hosted along with another doctor from Yale. It was a Yale-Harvard rivalry called the Big Game, held at Fenway Park. Joel Redfoot, Marissa Lombardi attended, and we had a Sideline Cancer event hosted by Immunovia Sweden for doctors to come together to see how they could get pancreatic cancer from the sideline to the finish line. And what a beautiful venue. They transformed Fenway Park that week into a football field, and so they called it the Big Game. So that was on World Pancreatic Cancer Day at Fenway Park. So that's beautiful. This other slide, Dr. Lotz and Dr. Randy Brand connected us to a group in Lisbon, Portugal, and they are with the Dan and Yoker family. And Dr. Lotz and Dr. Brand are all going to be attending an event that we're going to be hosting at Penn State in April. And so Sideline Cancer simultaneously was going on in Fenway Park and also the same day in Lisbon, Portugal. So pretty cool stuff. And then I'm really proud to say Sierra and her team at Penn State, Sideline Cancer at Penn State, hosted the very first Purple Power Run, which was held March 31st of this year. It was a tremendous success at the Hub, and we have two great participants. Jeff and Janice Meadows were there representing all of you in the race, and so we really look forward to that being an annual event, the Purple Power Run to Sideline Pancreatic Cancer at Penn State University. So kudos, Sierra and team. And then on April 5th, we hosted a collaborative event here with Penn State Altoona and Jack Andraka. And what we did is we brought people from all around the globe. We called it the Pep Rally for Pancreatic Cancer. And it was student involved. You see all the banners. They came from many institutions to be with us that night, and that was our pep rally to take it to the finish line at the Midnight Inn this April 2020. So this was really exciting to host this with Penn State Altoona. And as you see, Jack Andraka came in for it. This is a picture of our board with Dr. Jim Adair from Penn State. And then the excitement began to really happen. I got a phone call in light of Alex Trebek's cancer diagnosis. We got a phone call from a Neutron Media Inc. in Times Square. I kind of thought it was like a, robocall of some sort. And literally, Neutron Media had been on our website, and they looked at all the pancreatic cancer organizations around the globe. And what spoke to them was the ICANN that they see in sideline cancer and what we are doing for the global youth. They gave us a sponsored free screen. That screen runs every 10 minutes, 40 times a day in Times Square on 43rd and Broadway. And it is going to be up till August 12th. So if you're in New York, you'll be able to see our sponsored Times Square screen in honor of Alex Trebek. And I was really proud that they chose our organization to put that up in Times Square. My sister-in-law Jean that's here tonight's in the program. She was the very first Greg's sister to see the screen in New York, right around Greg's birthday, so that was a beautiful God wink. And Sierra and her mom Sue went up and got the picture with the screen also. So we've had a lot of fun. Our family traveled to New York on the hottest day ever, 115 degrees, but we did it. We did it. Joel Redfoot. Joel, we got to start with you. You started the train. And how we started the train was he had won an award at Penn State Altoona, the Good Works Award through Allstate. And Joel was invited to the NCAA Final Four in 2015. Joel literally, as you see at this photo on national TV, was seen by millions of viewers. He courageously took that shirt out onto the floor. You nearly got put in prison for it. But he did it. And that started the whole train rolling with national exposure. So Joel has really been, I believe, chosen by Greg to kind of, help us push this ball down the court. I'm glad now Greg has let you move down to North Carolina. Right, you're like living your own life now. So I want to just give a big shout out to Joel for his courageous efforts on NCAA Final Four. Let's hear it for Joel. And I want to talk about, and this is a really hard thing for me to talk about, Jermaine Marshall. Played at Penn State, Arizona State. The moment I met him, I felt like he was family. I can't explain it. There was something about Jermaine Marshall. Jermaine played on our TBT team. This would have been his third year. Jermaine unexpectedly died in January while playing overseas basketball in France. And he died of an enlarged heart. It was a sudden death. 28 years old. He really, had come to our dinner with his fiancée, Anya, and we really were saddened to hear that news in January, that he had passed. And so it's at this moment, Billy, I'd like you to come forward to give us a little update on, how you felt when this all happened with Jermaine. And we have something special for you, Billy. So if you and Jordan would come forward, I would appreciate it. And so as Billy and Jordan are coming up, as many of you know in the room, it was hard to miss that our team played in memory of Jermaine. We had Jermaine written on our hands. We had Jermaine on our uniforms. We devoted our whole play to the heart of Jermaine Marshall. And as you see by these slides, Billy and Jordan can say more, we were able to bring the presence of pancreatic cancer to the global community on ESPN, not for one night, not for 2 nights, but for 3. So it's my honor to welcome our general manager of the TBT, Mr. Billy Clapper. And our assistant coach, Jordan Griff.
Hi everyone, thanks for having me tonight. I'm just really thankful to have the chance to come. Kathy, I think, has invited me 5 times, and I've had to turn her down every time. In 2015, I left here, I moved to Florida, applied for a coaching position, and my wife and I would come back as often as we can, but the dates never worked out. And this year, when I asked her, when's your dinner? She said, August 9th, and I said, I can come. So I'm really thankful for that. It's really hard when I go up here and I look and I see that picture of Jermaine Marshall, because I think when you're a part of something and you have probably the most important part of it pass away suddenly, that really was a big growing thing for me this year, especially when a day later I get a message from his dad, who I don't even know, and said, I want to know more about this. I basically called Kathy. I said, I'm going to cold call him back and talk to him. And even this year during the TBT, we played his honor. And he was our best player. And pretty much all but 2 of our other players were on that team some way because of him. They knew him, they wanted to play with him, and so that was really powerful. But his dad even reached out to us after he saw us play this, actually 2 weeks ago today, we were still playing, and it was just so powerful. When his dad saw the JM on the jerseys, which was something I had reached out to TV and said, we want to honor Jermaine. Just a couple things about that experience. In 2014, when I was still at Penn State Altitude, I found out about this opportunity. And the first person I called was John Boyer. John was 5 years younger than me in Hollidaysburg, but being a retired professional basketball player, and he now still lives in Germany with his wife and children and plays. I wasn't going to do it without him, and he instantly said, I'm in. And then we slowly built this thing up, and this year, it really became sort of a, every year we want to do it, but where are we going to go? We went to Philadelphia for 4 years. They didn't have me in Philadelphia in 2018, so we went to New York City. We got to raise awareness in a new place. And then this year, we were planning to go to Richmond, Virginia. There was a lot of things great about it. It was 4 hours from Central PA. We didn't have Lindsay Parnell make a video that we were going to go to Richmond, Virginia. And I felt so bad when we didn't. But a couple weeks after that happened, I had the TBT reach out to me and said, how do you feel about going somewhere else in Richmond? And I said, I don't feel really good about that because that's what we said we were doing. And he said, what about Kansas? And I said, Kansas? Why would we want to go to Kansas? And they offered me the opportunity. Said, what about the fact that the games will be on ESPN? And I thought about it and I said, wow, if we got this started, we wanted to do it for something bigger. That was always my thing, do it for something bigger. And the potential of reaching people from all over, not just the country, but all over the world on ESPN national television. It started.
They all fell in love with her, and didn't she get offered a job? She just recently was offered a job in Charleston, South Carolina. She's with the International Foundation for Intestinal Gastro Disorders Foundation, IFFGD, and she just started her job as a project coordinator and event planner for this IFFGD Foundation, and she truly does exemplify, in my opinion, the beautiful altruistic qualities of Ellen Ottaway. So it's our awesome privilege to bring to the podium Marissa Lombardi.
I want to foundation so much, and this is such a tremendous honor. Of course, you all have heard the amazing story of Ellen Ottaway, so to be compared to her in any way, shape, or form is such an amazing honor. The Ottaway family is such a wonderful family in the community, and everyone knows how amazing they are. So I'm truly honored to receive this, and I've been honored from day one with Kathy. I didn't choose to represent Kathy Places. Kathy chose for me to represent her. Let's clarify that. I didn't really have a say in the matter, but I'm so honored. From day one to be given this opportunity, and like she said, in CDMC, I actually met who is my now boss in Charleston, South Carolina, and it was an amazing going one after the other. That the last 2 months have been a whirlwind of, I happened to meet her in State College, to her realizing she wanted me to work for her, to 3 weeks ago I started in Charleston, South Carolina, and now I'm back home for this, and it's the most amazing opportunity because I realized my passion in helping people and advocating for patients through what Kathy has allowed me to do for Sideline Cancer. And so I will be their project coordinator, but also advocating on Capitol Hill and doing a lot to try to help everyone in the gastrointestinal patient community. And I'm really excited about this opportunity also because she sees my passion to work with Sideline Cancer. And of course, I just started the job in Charleston, South Carolina, but got off to come back here, and she plans for me to continue to be able to do so. And I've gotten to go to the AACR special conference on pancreatic cancer last year, which is where I met Brigitte, our speaker, and I'm excited to attend that with her again this year. Again, my new employers are amazing and are letting me continue to travel and advocate as well for the pancreatic cancer community. And I'm so thankful for all the opportunities that Sideline Cancer has provided me with. Thank you.
Okay, there we go. Here we go. Thank you. Bonnie, do you want to pick another? Okay, one more blue ticket for 50-50. We're going to do the same number again, 387185. We didn't find anybody in the auction room. Okay, should we take another? Do we have anybody for the blue ticket? Okay, no blue ticket. Okay. We'll pull one more. Okay, let's see if we have a blue ticket. And it is 387654. Blue ticket. 387654. Any taker? No. 387654. Oh, we got it. George Sabine. All right, George. Okay. What I want to talk about very quickly, but most importantly, is through all of this journey, I've begun to really establish some awesome relationships with different organizations. And so Brain Hospice, they do a lot for cancer patients. Hospice care is a very important part of the cancer journey, especially like with a patient like Greg. It was extremely important to be able to get very good hospice care, to know when to call, to do this. And it's a difficult thing to talk about, but it's something that must be talked about. And so I'm really pleased that you see the sign over here, Brain Hospice Care. I'm really pleased to announce that they have joined our Sideline Cancer family and come on as a sponsor, not only financially, but really in friendship. And so on your table tonight, these beautiful glasses with purple in them, you guys are all supposed to take the glasses home and they're your glasses of hope. And that's what I really find with Grain Hospice and working with Tommy Birchfield and Sarah Gordy. They bring hope to a world and to our broken world, and it's my honor and privilege to welcome Tommy Birchfield to the podium.
So happy to be here tonight with Grain Hospice, supporting the Griffith Family Foundation on their 10th anniversary dinner. Congratulations on all of your hard work and many successes. Tonight is a night focused on hope, and it has been so uplifting. Most people, when we talk about hospice, don't relate the word hospice and hope. What I have learned in my time with Grain is that hospice brings hope to all those that it touches. Hope comes in many different forms. Hope to our patients that they are able to make their wishes known and live their life according to those wishes. Hope for comfort and peace as they continue their journey. Hope to families that we will provide the highest quality of care and support them in loving their husband, wife, sister, brother, daughter, son, or friend. Hope that through outreaches and initiatives such as the Griffith Family Foundation, that we will find new successful treatments and a cure, like the one we heard about tonight for Emily. Hope to those who have lost a loved one, that they will find the courage and the strength to continue on. From the first conversation that we had with Kathy, talking about the partnership with Grain Hospice and the Griffith Family Foundation, it has been clear that there have been many Godwins. Tonight is the start of a beautiful relationship that will continue on November 12th, right here at the casino, when Grain Hospice has the opportunity to bring in Dr. Sunita Puri, who is the Director of Palliative Medicine at Keck Hospital and Professor of Clinical Medicine at the University of Southern California, to continue the conversation and education in this community about the important role of hospice to patients and families. It will then continue in April at the Nittany Lion Inn as we continue to support the Griffith Family Foundation once again at their symposium. Life is precious, and that is why the work we do with hospice is so important. I want to take a moment and thank Scott Green, our director, because he makes sure that our staff has all of the necessary resources to give patients and families whatever they may need. And in true Scott form, he stepped out about 10 minutes ago to go to a family in a patient's home. The biggest misconception about working with cancer and working with hospice, that it's all sad and gloomy, and it is anything but. I love life, and that is why the work being done with the Griffith Family Foundation and the support shown by each and every one of you tonight is so important. Thank you, Kathy, for your tireless work and energy. I am proud to be your partner not only tonight, but in your work every day.
We all love the glasses. Like I said, make sure you take those home tonight. Those glasses of hope for the future. Now, I want to invite to this stage who has been here many, many times. In fact, I can't thank Dr. Moser enough. You know, when Greg was diagnosed in 2010, which just, it's so hard to believe, you know, that, because Greg's spirit is so palpable, as you all can tell. He is gone physically, but our loved ones never leave us. You know, love does conquer all in this world, and given everything that we're going through in this planet, I hope the takeaway tonight is that love conquers all. And when I talk about love conquers all, I think of Dr. Moser, and I think about all the love and dedication that he has given, not only to Greg, but to Brigitte and thousands of other patients, the Fulchero family. I mean, it just goes on and on and on about the tireless efforts, and every day going into the office, going through surgery. You know, just the emotion of it all is very difficult when you're dealing with a disease that is really, the statistics are low. So it's not easy, but it's my honor and privilege to welcome here tonight Dr. James Moser of Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center, Harvard Medical School. Let's hear it for Dr. Moser.
Well, as I was sitting here this evening, thinking about what a remarkable event this was, I realized that I had to completely retool my remarks because of the enormous number of really heartfelt, remarkable stories of truth and hope. You know, if I was thinking about anybody who could, when Jack Canfield came up with the phrase sideline cancer, I think he was actually looking for a way to put Kathy's initials onto a sign. And that is, Kathy's actually spelled I can. And after 10 years, I think that's what we're really here to celebrate, is the enormous achievement of Kathy's turning Greg's death into such a powerful force in the world. I know that Greg met my daughter when she was a little girl today. I heard Mr. Whitehead talking about his daughter, thinking about how she was very much like Neil Armstrong, right? The first man on the moon, first person to come back from an otherwise lethal childhood malignancy. And that's what we're all here to talk about tonight. I mean, Kathy, when she started talking about her list of interns, it sounded like she was actually reading the entire Altoona phone book. There's a huge number of people, all of whom dedicate their time and effort over many years to do something which is having an absolutely remarkable gathering momentum. So I'd like to give a round of applause to the not entirely unsung hero of the last 10 years, but someone whose courage and passion and perseverance has really brought us here tonight to Altoona every year, bigger and bigger. Thank you so much, Kathy. Say speech, but I never get the microphone back. I already know what would happen. Yeah, the next slide, please. So, I took this as a screenshot off your video on your website the other night. We were actually in Times Square right before my son and I, he went to the World Pinewood Derby Championships. We only lasted the first round. We were there right before this went up, when Kathy said, oh, we're going to have a billboard at Times Square. And this, and the Immunovia connection with Sweden, the vast number of people around the world that you've touched. And I'd like to try to bring some of this into perspective. As I said before, I wanted to change my remarks. So, can I have the next slide, please? So what we don't think about is in Columbus Day is really what Columbus embodied, right? That was only when did Columbus change the world, right? The world became round not on the day Columbus left, but on the day Columbus returned. That was the real achievement. How many people had left before Columbus and were never seen again? And that's the thing about cancer, right? As Emma's story demonstrates, someday someone's going to come back from that journey. And those of us who don't give up on the notion that it can be done, and perhaps even in our own lifetimes, there are long days when you wonder, every day you go to work, you know, what day is that going to happen? What day is that going to happen? And it's the passion and perseverance of all of you in the room to think past, you know, wear the purple, I have the purple. I brought my daughter, Anne, who, this was a stand-up, count to 5. She wasn't at all, she was just she met Greg when she was just a little baby.
And I come back here for the same reasons that all of you come back here. I don't think the distance has anything to do with it. What Brigitte didn't say is that she drove because she was afraid of missing the event. And she's a pancreatic cancer survivor. So what I want to say is, the cancer community is absolutely with us. And when we sail with the cancer community, it's like Christopher Columbus. You know, you don't know where you're going, how long it's going to take to get there. No idea what the end journey looks like. He thought he got to India, right? He didn't actually get to India, but he came back. That was what was important. So I'd like to just take my hat off to all of you in the room today for a moment and just tell you what it is that you're in the process of accomplishing. So what you can't see this is the Harvard Medical School building. What you can't see in the flag right there is the statement, the world is waiting. Right? The world is waiting. Who? But the question they don't ask is, waiting for whom? And the reality is waiting for you. Right? All the eggheads in the world don't cure cancer without somebody wanting to be the first. Right? Not willing to give up. The idea that the immune system can create a living drug, this is one of a number of innovations, right? Let's not forget that Tom Starzl, before he invented liver transplantation, there was an enormous petition to stop him from doing it because everybody thought it couldn't be done, it shouldn't be done, and then the man died, the world's greatest published scientist, almost 3,000 papers. The man basically invented the entire field of immunology to make liver transplantation, which is the most immunogenic organ in the body, possible. And all the people running around today with liver transplants, I mean, we had somebody that we operated on with pancreatic cancer who was here the last time I was here on a liver transplant as part of his treatment for pancreatic cancer, if you can imagine that. So what have you done, right? We've trained 8 research fellows, one of whom decided there wasn't enough excitement in medicine, so then he joined the European Space Agency, and in November he's being shipped to Antarctica for a year with they can't leave. This is the only base in Antarctica. If you get sick there and you can't take care of yourself, it's tough luck. You cannot get out. Because he's the one of the European Union's people that they want to send to Mars, and they want to know if that group of people can stand the isolation for that prolonged period of time and take care of themselves. And their question is, can the human mind withstand the isolation of having to deal with life and death problems alone? And isn't that what the death of cancer is all about? It's the isolation of dealing with something by yourself. And all of you here, this collective audience, remind us all the time that that's not true. That's not true. So, 8 research fellows from all around the world. I have 2 more MD PhD students from the Netherlands that we do projects with. We've written 10 scientific papers with the results of with the finances that you've provided to us, made available to us. 5 manuscripts underway, one of which is going to be a worldwide event. It is going to forever change how surgery for the pancreas is done. We got the revisions, we sent the revisions back today. So that's happened here. And you should see the reviews, right? The status quo, what President Reagan defined as Greek for the, quote, the mess we're in, right? The status quo doesn't necessarily much more likely to come back than people who don't have symptoms. So they're making that distance travel, knowing that their time's limited, that they're going to die of pancreatic cancer, and they have symptoms, whereas the people who don't are more likely to be cured and don't have symptoms. And the final thing is that the worse their life expectancy is, the more likely they are to return. Knowing that it's not going to be, that they're not giving anything to themselves or their family members, because we tell them that up front, because we're required to by the FDA consent process. So the final slide, please. So we ran all this through our artificial intelligence algorithm, okay? So this is the first time artificial intelligence has ever been used to identify predictors of human behavior, to understand what this is, okay? We presented this in the main meeting of the American Society of Clinical Oncology. So if you ask yourself, why are there no early diagnostic tests for cancer? This is the reason. Because people stop coming back. The most severely affected people are coming back again and again and again. but the rest of people aren't coming back. So the studies they die a premature death before the results can be found. And when you're talking here tonight about getting the word out, that's what's so very important about this. These people have given everything they're ever going to have. You know, I don't know if you saw that Clint Eastwood movie, Unforgiven, where he says when you kill a man, you take away everything he's got and everything he's ever going to have. And these people, in the most altruistic spirit possible, are giving everything they have at the end of their lives to see a different generation of people not have to suffer the same deaths. So when you ask yourself, why am I here tonight? This is why. You understand this. Many of you have seen people die of pancreatic cancer. You understand that we have to get the word out about this. That if these people are getting on Columbus's ship, knowing they're actually never going to get back, they're all the unsung heroes, that those of us that are left behind, is our absolute duty to speak on their behalf. So when I think about Mr. Whitehead's daughter, right, it's what Neil Armstrong said, right? John Kennedy said to send a man to the moon and to return him safely within the decade. Right? One small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind. That's what we're here to talk about. So the world is waiting for whom? For you. And it's a real honor to be here tonight. I'm not up here to talk about, you know, the remarkable work or blow anybody's horn, except to talk about the effort that's required to try to get the word out about this. That artificial intelligence demonstrates that all of that human behavior actually stems from their understanding that they have a non-curative stage of an absolutely lethal disease and that nothing else matters. None of the income things, none of that really cynical stuff that you read in the press about what actually motivates people. It's their faith in their families and us. It's their hope for a different future and their love for each other that keeps bringing them back. So I appreciate the podium tonight. I bring my daughter, like you bring your family, to demonstrate that this is important. Right? This isn't about doing surgery for pancreas cancer. That's the easiest part of my job. Why do I do that? Because that's the reason. That gives me an opportunity. We take stuff out and we figure out why stuff works and why it doesn't work. That's what is really behind the job. The operating is unfortunately, sorry Brigitte, that's the easiest part of my day. So, thank you once again to Kathy. Maybe one standing ovation is not enough. One more time, everybody up please.
We don't just leave here tonight. Dr. Moser has agreed to be our keynote speaker at the Nittany Lion Inn. Dr. Adair is here tonight and his wife Bernadette. I would like to give Dr. Adair and Bernadette a round of applause. We all need a plan of action. We will be doing a scientific symposium at the Nittany Lion Inn. It is booked for April 17th, Thursday, April 16th, Friday, April 17th. And we plan to take pancreatic cancer collaboratively with all different institutions, Pitt, Penn State, Harvard. We're going to bring everybody together to figure out how can we get it to the finish line. We owe it to our children to make the world cancer-free. Let's hear it for collaboration. So we're going to conclude with singing. So before you all begin to go, we're going to sing. So go ahead. Okay, we're going to join in karaoke style.